Hi everybody, VST here. In today's video, I'm going to show you Haiku. Right. Before we start, let's just dive deep into some of the information that is very relevant to understand really what Haiku is. Okay guys, so in 2001, Palm announced the purchase of BeInk, and BeInk were the company that made the BeOS. And BeOS actually was an operating system back in the 90s that was kind of popular, but also not so much available to the wider public. So back in the days, I knew about it. I really had some friends using it when it was later ported to Intel Pentiums, but I never had a chance to try it. So a while ago, I thought, let me try BeOS, and then I found out about Haiku. And to understand what Haiku is, we need to check on BeInk and also BeOS. So what is BeInk? BeInk was an American computer company that created and developed the BeOS and the BIA operating systems and the Bebox personal computer. So Jean-Louis Gasset worked for Apple, then he started his own company, BeInk. BeInk produced their own personal computer. They named that the Bebox. It was powered by a dual power PC, 603 at 66 MHz. It had some interesting things like this light on the front that you can see here, the blinking light, and it also came with a custom I/O board called the Geek board. The idea behind BeOS was to be a system used for multitasking, multi-threading, and also for multimedia, which wasn't the case so much back in the days with all the others around, like with Windows going on and being very strong and pretty much coming on every single PC. In the white paper from BeOS, they're calling it that all these systems that were available back in the days was just built on older systems like DOS or Unix, and they were just a legacy. So BeOS wanted to be something new, something modern and fresh that will really allow professionals to cope with a lot of multimedia applications at the same time. And there are some very nice videos that you can check about BeOS and its history, but as you can imagine, this really didn't go so nice, specifically with Microsoft having like 80% of the shares. Back in the days, it was very hard to get the retailers to put BeOS on the PCs that they ship, because Microsoft were so nasty and went back to the retailers and just threatening them with licensing costs. And some point, for just like 1 year, you're also able to buy a Mac clone that will have BeOS and macOS as a dual. And we all know how this ended up for BeInk, sadly, just for stopping the Bebox, and then apparently had to sell Bebox directly. Yeah, not really a great story, but the story doesn't stop here, because on the 17th of September 2001, Palm Inc. actually acquired BeInk, and they put an end to the BeOS development. And just the next day, Michael Phipps started the Open BeOS project, because BeOS was really loved by so many people, enthusiast professionals all around the globe. And at some point, the Open BeOS just became Haiku. And in this video today, I'm just going to show you Haiku, my setup, and we're just going to do a full review of what you can do with Haiku. So this is the look of my Haiku desktop. Something very important, this is called the desk bar, and this is the first thing you're going to see when you boot the Haiku, besides of course the SSH keys generation. Now from here, you can access all your application, your demos, your desktop applets, your preference, basically all the settings, and of course all the apps that you have opened. But there is something more, let me show you guys. If you don't like the way it looks, you can just make it bigger, or you can go here and just drag and drop this where you want. So if you want, like me, to have more like a Windows experience, you can also put it down here like that. This is going to double as your start menu, from where you can access all your applications, your demos, your settings. Then we have the file browser. Pretty much all the open applications are going to be here. And then of course here on the right, we're going to have something that pretty much looks like a sister in almost any other modern operating system. And when I said operating system, have in mind that BeOS and Haiku is not a Linux distribution, it's just something on its own. When you boot Haiku for the first time, you can directly click here. This is bbook. This is going to open the web positive. That is the browser implemented in Haiku. The original one in BeOS was net positive. And from here, you'll get access to extensive information, or there is also the option for you to click on the quick tour and just get an accelerated training. But hey, this is why I'm doing this video, so I'm going to show you the fancy things and also my setup. Let's go down on the start menu and select the applications. When I just hover with my mouse, I'm able to open anything I want from here. I can also click on the applications and boom, I'm going to have a standalone folder. Alright, so that's the first thing I want to show you guys, because this here is really unique. It was unique in BeOS and it's still unique in Haiku, and it's not something that you're going to see quite that often. When I click here, it's going to go away. And this next button will zoom to maximize it and just resize based on the icons that you have. But let me show you something fancy. Now let's go and open the preferences. I'm going to click on the preferences and I'm going to have them there. So right now I just have two standalone windows. One is with the applications, one is with the preferences. So right now I have two windows open, the preferences and the applications. And let me show you, there are some really unique things. What you see here are actually titles. So I can just hold the shift and, for example, just move it around. Why? Well, I can do something like this. Now I'm going to have something like a multi-window, applications and preferences, and this pretty much was the BeOS implementation, but it's still just two different windows. But you see the idea, right? You can just go and move this where you want. But Haiku took it to the next level because now I can just stack those windows. This wasn't possible on BeOS. By holding the Options key, which is my Windows button, I can hover here and you see they will change the color. Boom! Right now I have these both windows stuck and I can just move them around where I want. And this is just so neat. If you want to unstuck them, hold again the Options key and just remove them. And by the way, there is another very neat trick. If I hold the Options key and go closely to this window, boom, I can now stack them together, but they'll be still two different windows. So remember, we have these options separate windows. We have then the stacked options. Everything is going to be just as one window. Unstack them or just make them stick together. And this is something unique. Some of these work in BeOS, but not all of this. So really Haiku took this to the next level. The next thing I want to show you is the Twitcher. So if I press the Control and Tab key, I'm going to get access to the Twitcher, and this is actually all my open applications. Now let me show you something interesting. I'm going to open my Games folder and I'm going to press Control and Tab. This will invoke the Twitcher from where I can select apps that I've already opened. Now see what happens when I go to my media player. Boom! I'm getting directly to my next workspace. And by the way, you can see all my workspaces here. And not only is this a concept from like 1995, I can have not only different workspaces that I can access with Control, Alt and any of the arrows, but also a different wallpaper on any of them. And that was pretty cool for 1995. And I can also go here and with the mouse click to any of the workspaces that I want. Did you pay attention to how I cycled through all my workspaces from here? Let me show you something else, guys. This thing here isn't just an app. It's really what we call right now widgets. Let me show you. I have an app called Quick Launch that allows me to really launch whatever is installed. So I'm just going to go and type desk cal. This is for the calculator. Double click. So this thing here is the calculator. And like I told you, right, I can just move the title around. I can try to close it if I want. Now I can go to the right to the so-called launch box. Just click start it again. I can take information from the app and put it where I want on my workspace and then boom, close the app. Voila, now I have 3 calculators. So this is kind of like the early concept of widgets. We have them right now in macOS, in Windows, on our Android phones, also in iOS. But just imagine, this was really very advanced back in the days. So this is how I'm able to get workspace here, also display the CPU and the RAM graphics, and of course right now end up with having 3 calculators. And those things are called replicants in Haiku. And by the way, not saying Haiku OS because it's just Haiku. Okay, a lot of people call it Haiku OS. How do we remove it? You have to click here with the right click, boom, remove the replicant, and then it's gone. And a lot of the system apps support this thing, so you can just drag things around from the main applications, put them where you want on your workspace, then cycle with Control Alt and the arrows. And you can see how this is going. Remember, in BeOS in 1995, this was pretty advanced, and Windows for sure was not able to do things like that. And now let me show you the launch box. You can click here, go to Desktop Applets. I do believe that this wasn't like this in BeOS. This is something new from Haiku, and you can click the launch box and it will appear here. But yeah, since this is Haiku, you can pretty much drag this around where you want to have it. Let me show you how this works. I can click Telegram and the application will start. And now I can open my media player. It's gonna start here, everything nice. Let me share something else with you guys. I have this song playing, it's an MP3 file. I can open another one. It will start playing on top of this. And in the same time, I can also open a MIDI file. And of course, it's going to be a bit chaotic, but you see how it goes. The idea behind BeOS was to be really this professional multimedia operating system that was really way ahead in 1995. Let me share something else with you. I can open a media file, right? It's gonna start playing. There are several reverse options. You can just go and choose what you like. And yeah, also no reverb if that's not your thing. So this is how basic window navigation works. We have also the Twitcher, like I showed you. This is really what you can expect from Haiku. It's a full-fledged operating system, and I've barely scratched the top of the iceberg. So now allow me to share you the more interesting stuff. As a legacy to the original BeOS, we have something called demos here. The GLT bot is something that a lot of people will recognize. You can open this, You can see the FPS. You can also just add different lights. You can, by the way, also add more teapots, and there are different settings, different perspective things, lights coming up from up, down, colors. There are more demos as in BeOS, and of course it's still Haiku with not BeOS. This is the Haiku 3D one, and now I want to show you something that is really interesting, and I know that a lot of people are going to ask about it. It's like, how do we install software on Haiku? And there is something called the Haiku Depot. This is kind of like the package manager that will just scrap different repositories. And guys, there are plenty of things that you can just install as simply as you're installing any binary, let's say an exe file, setup.exe in Windows or anything in macOS. The first time you start it, you need to allow the application to go and scrap the details, all the information about the so many thousand packages that are there. It's divided into some suite categories like audio, for example. We have apps that are featured. Those are the audio applications. We have development, eco, Genio, Coder. We have also business apps like Summit, Capital B. We have educational applications, and those are just the featured ones. And yes, we have also games here, graphics. There are plenty of tools to create, edit, and manipulate images. Then we have internet and connectivity. And by the way, here, guys, we have something called the Ice Whistle. Now think about Firefox. It's Firefox, and this thing being an unofficial Haiku port of the Firefox browser is actually Ice Whistle. I, by the way, also installed that one. We have productivity, PDF readers, and also, guys, a full-fledged and working LibreOffice package, which means that you can create Word files and Excel files, and of course a bunch of video utilities such as video players, converters, and not only. And guys, let me show you something interesting. I'm gonna go here inside the games, and as you can see, I'm now in the featured packages tab. But if I go to all packages, and this is where actually the fun begins, because we have so many more. In fact, let me show you. I'm gonna go to all the categories, and I'm gonna click all the packages. So right now you can see how many apps you can access just with a click of a mouse. It's 6,000 items. And by the way, yes, you can also add different repositories, and you can manage them very easily. So just go inside the preferences. There's going to be something called repositories. Double click it, and from here you're going to see we have the Haiku and the Haiku ports, and then another repository that I included. And including repositories is very easy. You can just click on the plus sign and put the URL. Or in my case, the way I did it, I just opened a terminal window here, and yep, I just added it manually, right, with package man add repo. And you can also add them like this. So right now I'm just going to override it. All right, it's going to validate everything is correctly, and then the next time you relaunch your repositories, it's going to appear here. Now let me show you how many games we have. I sorted the biggest one here. So we have the Super Tux card. It's a free 3D racing game. We have Speed Dreams, we have Endless Skies, we have Super Tux, which is a game that is very similar to Super Mario. We have Wildlands, that is a game just like Settlers 2, card games, space race games, emulators, of course, and you can do some pretty nice filtering. So right now, if I click only install packages, those are all the games that I've installed. By the way, we have Classic Cube, that is a sandbox block game inspired by Minecraft. We have also Mind Test. Of course, we do have also the Chocolate Doom. I'm going to show it later on. You can also go and just select all the available packages and remove the installed one. And you can also select the repository. So right now, I just want to see the official Haiku repository. All right, nothing here. Haiku ports, boom, all these games. Or let's say the custom one that I added, just a few games, or let's say all repositories. It's that powerful, guys. Remember, 6,000 apps only with these 3 repositories, and you can just scrape online. There are many more, but the basics and even more are here just with the Haiku installation. Let's install a game and show you how easy is this. So I'm just going to click install Edgar. The Haiku Depot will check all the dependencies. Sometimes you need to give some permissions. All these things happen on the background automatically, and it just works like out of the box. No issues whatsoever. Some packages are problematic. Of course, you get a notification, but you just click with the mouse, wait, and then enjoy. So now the Edgar game has been installed, and I can just open it from here, or what I can do, I can press Ctrl, Alt, and M, just minimize, or I can go from the start menu, go on applications, and launch it from here. It's going to be Edgar. Also, what I can do, guys, I'm going to go here, click applications, then the folder is going to open. I'm going to right click Edgar, and then I'm going to do something like this. Create link. I'm going to put it on the desktop games folder I already created. I'm going to press Ctrl Alt M to close this one, and I'm going to go in my games folder. Here it is. By the way, let me show you guys. This is crazy here. All right. This is the default view. Alt 2 will give me mini icons, and then I can have also this list. Remember, we have the standard things like in any OS, you can resize the window, but also if I press Control and Alt, right, I can move the window like this, just resize. So window management in BeOS and also in Haiku is just really to the next level. It's just so better from a lot of the other things that I've seen. But okay, now let me start the game. I'm gonna start Edgar. Press any key, we have new game, tutorial, we have options. All right, let's just hit the new game, and then the game will start. Let me share something that is a favorite of mine. This is SDL Pop. It's pretty much a ported Prince of Persia with this nice MIDI sound. Just listen, guys. And from here, of course, I can click and maximize the volume. And of course, I have a playable game, pretty playable game. You can also hit here and maximize it, just get this very nice and big screen experience. And of course, it also comes with some nice things like quick save and quick load. And if you don't want it, Control-Alt-M, and it's going to be minimized. I have a few games. For example, this is the Classic Cube Launcher. It's a Minecraft thing, so single player will just load a world, and I can now play with my mouse, and I can do and use 2 or 3 to just select other blocks and try to mine if that's your thing. Of course, Minecraft is also there. This is the Super Tux that is like a Mario clone, and honestly, this one doesn't work so well now. Graphics are still a bit problematic because I think that it uses CPU, so there is actually not a lot of acceleration. But I can show you something that is very interesting, as I've installed something called the VM add-ons. And let me show you something interesting. I've installed something called the VMware add-ons, and with that I'm able to just push the screen resolution to even higher one that is available from the stock. So if I go to the preferences right now, and if I go to screen, I have all these available resolution because I'm using the VM VGA driver from VirtualBox. And this is Automatic. As you can see, it's very 3D, right? Now some nice intro from Automatic. We have robots and aliens, and they are kind of invading the Earth. This was the best that I was able to achieve with the emulation that I'm using. Again, I'm using the VMS VGA because of the VMware add-ons. But anyway, let me show you how quick this thing boots. So I'm going to start the virtual machine right now. I'm going to also scale it. So I'm going to click enter here. All right, and you can see, guys, the moment it really starts, the booting screen, the loading screen looks very much like BeOS 5 inspired. Right? And this thing is really quick, like even on the VM. And if you decide to install it on a PC, it's going to be way better than this. First, let's start my Launchbox. So I'm going to go to Desktop Applets and click Launchbox, and then I already have access to some of my applications. And the next thing I want to start is the workspaces. But let's say that I don't want to go every time from the start menu. So what I can do from the Launchbox, just click here, add a button here. Then, guys, what I'm going to do, I'm going to click the Desktop Applets folder. I'm going to take Workspaces, and I'm going to put it there. And yep, from here I can just click Workspaces. All right, then remember, I'm just going to take the replicant, put it here, and now I have a very easy access to all my different desktops. And remember, guys, individual wallpapers and settings on all of your desktops. From here I can close it, and you can do a lot of things from here. Add as many buttons as you want, also resize it, and just put it where you want. So the Launchbox is quite a good thing to have. Let me open some demos. All right, you can see the clock is a demo right now. It also supports replicant, so I can just click here and take the clock out, and every time I click it, by the way, you see it will change the watch face. This is so amazing. And boom, now I can click the clock, and I will always have a running clock on my desktop. Also, the BeOS inspired one. This is so cool. Let me open the activity monitor once again, and I want to take the CPU usage and put it here. All right, it's going to be as a replicant. I can close this, and I want to show you how we can update the OS. When you go inside the applications, it's going to be something called Software Updater. And the first time you install it, go there and check, because I had to update something like 49 packages. It will just tell you if you have updates or no. If you have updates, it's going to be again just a few mouse clicks to install the latest version. By the way, right, the Haiku is still in beta. So this is the version that I'm using. So it's the HREV 57937 plus 129. It's R1 Beta 5. But remember, Haiku has been in development since the last 20 years, guys, and they are now already in Beta 5, and it's just amazing. It's very stable, even on my VM. Here you can see some of your hardware information, and down below even the uptime, and even this thing here can be dragged as a replicant, guys. So right now I'm gonna close this, and from here I can always see the version on my hardware, not that I don't know it, but also the uptime running. Let's go inside the applications and let me show you some of the cool stuff that I'm using. We have something called BFAR, and this is actually a Midnight Commander port. Midnight is a port of the original Northern Commander, and it's very useful because you have this dual view and you can navigate through the left view, press tab, go to the right view, and this will give you very easy access to all the files and the folders you have, like the home, all right, or the system. And if you press F10, it's going to be yes for quit, and then you're back on your desktop. We have devices where you can check all the devices that I have currently on my VM. The standard character map that will allow you to map everything you want. Included debugger is here as well. We have the drive setup that allows you to create new partitions and also format them. Also, we have the disk probe that will check your hard drive, and then also the disk usage that will show how much information and free space you have. This thing here is the expander that can help you expand packages, like just unarchive them. This is the Ice Whittle browser, but it's slow for me, at least under emulation, probably also slow in the real thing. We have Iconomatic that allows you to create your custom icons, and this is something cool, guys. LMMS. It's pretty much like a clone of Fruity Loops, so you can use this as a full-fledged sequencer, and I'll use MIDI instruments, MIDI keyboard as well if you have it, load samples, and just do your own music. And again, just install it with one mouse click. This thing here is a standard magnifier. Then of course we do have a email client if you want to use that. We have media converter, you can convert files. We have the media player, the one that I already showed you. You can just boom, launch it like that. We have also a MIDI synth that will load the sound from bank that is there. And yeah, you can also play music if you want. Again, it's a full-fledged OS. This is P, the text editor that you can use to edit or just create new text files. And we do also have Porman that was also available in BeOS. And this thing here is actually a web server. So if you want to just host a website with Haiku, yeah, you can do this using Porman, the web server. And yes, we have Vision. This seems to be an RC client actually connected somewhere. Let me just close that one. And of course, this standard stock browser, the Web Positive. The original one in BeOS was Net Positive. The implementation here is called Web Positive. This is the web browser. It's very usable, but you cannot really play YouTube videos. Now let's check the preferences. We have appearance, we have backgrounds, Bluetooth, data translation, desk bar, email, file types, the key map switcher, from where you can just add different keyboard layouts if you want, localization settings, notification, printers, repositories, shortcuts, screensaver, everything system related is here. And also the virtual memory. Click it here and you'll be able to just adjust the settings for the virtual memory. And now let me show you Doom. I have the WAV file inside. And by the way, you can also play this with the mouse, you know, Alt to strafe, like in the old good days. I remember playing this with one guy, so just imagine two people playing this game. It was really crazy. Like one person was just going back and forward and doing the shooting, and one was strafing, so it was kind of like crazy days. And Control-Alt-M to just minimize that. And if you miss the task manager, there is something called the task manager, so you can just download this package, and then it's gonna look a bit more like Windows. Also with replicants, so we can just drag these things around, put them there, and now we're gonna have it on your desktop workspace. And remember, when it's too cluttered, just press Control-Alt, one of the arrows, and you can always go to the next screen and just open as many apps as you want. So this was my tour of Haiku, and I really hope that you have enjoyed it. And if you want more content like this, just let me know down below in the comments. If you have any questions or any tips for Haiku, I would love to hear them again down below in the comments. Thank you so much for watching this video, guys. If you like videos like this, you can just go and watch some of my previous videos. Stay safe, VST over, and bye.